Welcome back, humor consumers, to the Life Happens, Laugh Anyway podcast. I'm comedian Tracy DeGraff.
And I'm Cathrine, co-host and bestie.
Cathrine, co-host and bestie, welcome to the Pod Lab.
Thank you.
We are here once again. We are under construction, friends, so I wish you could see what we're dealing with. Now we have no floor. But
oh, yeah, I thought we were going to video.
We were, but my battery's almost dead.
Oh.
So sorry about that. Tech problems. Well, we're going to get to video, and I promise you, friends, if you're listening, I wish I could show you this, because this is the pod. This is the way that we've lived, though, in this house, really since we started the podcast. Mm-hmm. Because how many times have we done an episode where we're like, oh, I hope they can't hear that pounding or that drilling.
There's been something all along.
Yeah.
Intermittently.
Yeah. So last summer, it was the kitchen. We remodeled the kitchen.
Yeah.
And now we're making our way with the flooring that Ron put through the kitchen and through the living room. He's now bringing it into the hallway. Well, in order to do that, he has to have all the levels of the floor have to be the same level. So it's a long thing.
Well, and before that, he was doing work in the bathroom, which is adjacent to this bedroom. It's on the other side of this wall. And he busted a hole.
He busted a hole in,
right through
the wall. But that's okay, because we love him. Well, I do.
Well, you do.
I do.
Yeah.
Yes,
I love him in a different way.
Well, that's probably good.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're in the pod lab, and we have like, I don't know what that stuff is called, those big 4x8 sheets of plywood or whatever they are.
OSB board.
Yeah, that's what it is. And no, we're going to have a good episode. On today's episode, friends, the topic is we're doing a documentary. Right about once a month, we try to cover a documentary. We love documentaries, and we love to watch them.
So interesting.
They are. I can't get Ron to watch them, though, that often. He watched this one with me because I had to watch it.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, he fell asleep, but he's not bad, so that's sad. Anyway, this is podcast episode number 235. And we did the doc called Fit for TV, The Reality of the Biggest Loser, which is that reality show that was on years ago. I don't think it's on anymore, right?
No. It was done officially in 2020.
Okay. So it's been a minute since they've been on the air, but now people have things to say about it, behind the scenes and all that kind of stuff. So here are a couple of takeaways that we hope that you get out of this episode. We watched separately this 3-part series. So if you're looking for a docuseries that you want to watch that's digestible, it's just 3 episodes. You can binge watch it. I did. I watched all 3 all in a row.
They're pretty short.
Yeah, and it was interesting. And they had pretty good cliffhangers that would make you go, I wonder what's coming next.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
All right. So takeaway number 1, we're going to prove to you and show to you how reality shows aren't really reality at all. I think everybody knows that.
Yeah.
But in this case, it was really proven throughout this documentary. Takeaway number 2, excess weight is marinated in emotions. Also, we know that. We know that. Gee.
Yeah.
Okay. And then takeaway number 3, we're just going to talk about funny moments from the documentary that we made, they were like laugh out loud moments, because this is the Laugh Anyway show. So, life happens, laugh anyway. As always, we have some spiritual inspiration and a call to action at the end. All right, Cathrine, share with our listeners how they can connect with us and how they can sponsor us.
Go to Life Happens, Laugh Anyway podcast.com. Do that.
Thank you.
Come on.
Say it again. How do you do it?
Life Happens, Laugh Anyway
podcast.com. That's it.
Just
praise God.
Yeah. And follow those prompts. Donate if you feel led, which we hope you do. And that helps us get a little better.
It does, because we need help. I mean,
can't you tell?
We need help. We're really working toward being able to get some video editing, help with that.
Yeah.
So anyway,
right.
It's coming. Anything else that you wanted to say about that? All right, let's roll. Let's roll into this episode. Cathrine, if somebody had never watched this docuseries at all, give us a little overview. Just give me a summary. You're good at summarizing.
Oh, okay.
I feel.
This was a show that was the idea of this producer, David Broom, and also J.D. Roth. And it was a competition for overweight people to win a cash prize at the end. And it included a lot of drama, challenges, a lot of tears, sweat, and all of that. And so that is a short overview.
Tell the audience how he came up with the idea. Do you remember that?
Yeah. He had a Post-it note on his door, and it said, "Please help. Need to lose weight," or something like that. I know it started with "Please help. Yeah. Obese person who needs to lose weight." And he thought to himself, that's a great idea. That's going to be a show.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. So they got Jillian Michaels and Bob Harper. They were trainers in L.A., and they got them to be these trainers, and they put it out there to millions of Americans to be contestants. And I think they said that for the first show, they had like 500-something people, something like that. But the point is, after it aired for the first time, the first season, they had thousands upon thousands
of contestants
of
that wanted to be on
auditions.
the show. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did you see some of the crazy audition tapes that people would put forward?
Yes, I did. And throughout the season, they would sometimes spotlight, like they do on reality shows, people's auditions. And one that they showed in this documentary was Suzanne, the New York cop.
Oh, yeah.
And she had the song, "I Like Big Butts and I Cannot Lie." You other brothers. Anyway, so that was really funny. Good old Danny Cahill.
Yeah, Cahill. Yep.
He had submitted 3 audition videos, and he said that he used to be in a band, and he was he had no problem being seen and kind of being in front of a camera. And when he didn't get any kind of response, he's like, I was kind of mad. But then he does get this call, I think after his 3rd video. And he said, I'm going to do something that makes them remember me. And that's when he brought in his family. And one of his daughters, or a daughter, whatever, said that she had never known her dad to not be heavy.
Right. So, and that's a hard thing.
Yeah.
I mean, being obese, and sometimes people are morbidly so, is a very true danger to our health.
Right.
Do you remember when I was diagnosed with obesity? Do you remember that?
I remember you saying it. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I tell that?
It's your story.
It's embarrassing, but whatever. I went to the doctor and I thought, okay, I want to work on my weight, right?
Yeah.
But whatever. I didn't think I was that bad.
It's like a dirty word.
I know. It's like the F word.
It is. It's like nobody says that.
So I'm at the doctor and we're finished with my wellness exam. And this is my very first visit with this doctor, right?
Yeah.
And I had switched doctors to somewhere south of here, like closer to home.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. And then I say, by the way, I thought I really want to lose some weight. And so she's a real small person anyway. She's like as big as my pinky finger. Mm-hmm. And she starts writing down things or clackety-clack into her computer, I think it was. And as I'm talking and she's going,
Did you just want to sit on her?
No. I thought she genuinely cared, which I think she did. But then she said, well, eat less, move more, all the things, And then I left. Well, a week later, I get a phone call from my insurance company, and they say, we're denying your claim. And I go, why? And they said, because we don't cover weight loss stuff. And then they had like the diagnosis codes there.
Yeah.
And they said, we don't cover obesity. And I was like, what?
That's how you found out?
Yes. I found out from the insurance.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah. And I wanted to say wrong number and hang up, but I didn't. I just went, oh, no.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I switched doctors after that.
Yeah.
I did. Because then I was diagnosed with cancer. And then I'm like, well, I don't want to go back to that lady who thinks I'm obese and have cancer. Can't have 2 things.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
At least when I went to my new doctor, he didn't say anything about that. But I didn't get on the scale.
Also, you don't know what he coded it.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, Yes, obesity is a dirty word, and people are there's a shame connected to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was embarrassed. I don't know why I'm even saying it on this podcast, but I guess I don't care
enough. We can
enough.
edit it out. Speaking
We
of,
never edit things out. When we say we're going to edit, we never do. What?
But it's an option.
Okay, what?
So we are talking about, food, obesity, whatever. Kenny's first he tried calling. He should know that I'm recording.
Yeah.
And now he's texting and he says, talking to Ron, you up for tacos?
Oh yeah. Well, good. Tell him yes as soon as we're done recording about obesity.
No, I'm so tired today.
Well, you need to eat, right?
I know, but I made food.
Eat that tomorrow. Today's Tuesday. It's Taco Tuesday, Catherine. Just tell him yes. We're actually recording a podcast, and we're not going to go back and edit this.
That's true. Okay, so some things about the show.
Yeah.
Were you going to say something?
No, that was all I had about my obesity encounter.
So talking about it definitely was a reality show, and I believe most of it is not scripted. Do they play on and not edit out some of the things, like the fight between the contestant Joelle and her friend Carla? Correct.
Hold, please. No. It's not scripted. Mm-mm. However, it is pushed. So drama is pushed. Like the trainers were told to be as combative as you could be.
Yeah, definitely they want the ratings. Definitely they're going to steer that ship that way. I'm talking about the contestants and the way things play out. Like like this Tracy that we'll talk about, and how the other contestants respond to, because there's like action and reaction. Yeah. That's not scripted. That just plays out.
But what they're doing is they're squeezing humans into this environment where it's like a pressure cooker. It's like they're putting people in a pressure cooker.
Yeah, they know what they're doing.
Popcorn kernels in hot oil and just waiting to capture when it busts.
These people, they've got the camera on them. They're hungry. They are missing their family. Of course, they're hot, and they're in this competition, and they're being yelled at. It's almost abuse in some cases. Definitely, they're going to have their outbursts.
It's 100%.
All of that stuff.
It's abusive. Yes.
Yeah, and the producers and all, they know what they're doing. They know. In fact, like the auditions, especially with this Joelle, and she says herself in the documentary at the end, she said, they cast me because of my personality, not because they want to help me, not to get better, but it's for the ratings. It's always for the ratings when it's for a TV show.
That's the key takeaway that I got from watching the documentary and also doing further research, is that this show had nothing to do with helping people. Okay. It really didn't.
Right.
As its goal. Now that could be an after effect of it, that people did. Some people really did lose weight, and they've kept it off.
Yeah,
Most did not. Like everybody lost weight that was still on the show, and at the finale, Jillian Michaels was not a part of the documentary, but I looked at, and Catherine looked at too, some things that she did after that. Or alongside that. And she said that there was not one person at the finale, and they have the alumni come back. Not one person was unhappy that they did the show when they're standing there 100 pounds lighter than they were when they walked in. Yeah. However, the part where it detaches from reality is when these people have to go home, because it is the reality that they put them in. They pluck them out of this world where they became obese or morbidly obese. Okay, they pluck them out of that world and they put them into this very controlled environment with cameras on.
Yeah, and the main focus is on themselves. They don't have the distracting world outside. They are working out for about 8 hours or more a day. They have very strict calorie diets, and that was an interesting thing too, because if anybody who's listening watched the show back when it was in its prime time, then you would be familiar with Dr. Huizinga. I'm probably saying it wrong.
Yes.
But he had he wanted for women to have whatever calories, I think it was 1,200 calories, and the men to have their daily calorie intake. But Bob and Jillian wanted all the contestants to have less. And they believed firmly that they could do it with less. And so there was that little bit of friction between them. Did you know that Dr. Huizinga and Jillian didn't speak for 16 years?
Wow.
On the show. While during the show
that
was on. Yeah, he himself said that.
I have a quote from Dr. Huizinga, though, and he said this, and I quote, and this was from the extra research that I did. He said, you can't have a show that's based on weight loss that's safe.
Right.
It's impossible.
I heard him say that, too.
It's
Yes.
impossible to have a show that's based on weight loss that's safe.
Yeah. And another thing about, since we're talking about reality as well, is in a normal workout place where you have a trainer, your trainer is not going to dump a bucket of water on you and say, wake up. You know, that's what Jillian did to a contestant. I mean, can you imagine little Lindy doing that to us?
No, I can't imagine Lindy.
I would be one of those people. I mean, I would either that or super mad. But
I thought, speaking also of reality, right, because we're on that segment, I thought when they did those challenges, those temptation challenges. Now, I was not one that watched this show when it was coming out week after week. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. I just didn't catch it or whatever.
Yeah.
But so I'm watching the docuseries and they're just showing clips of this, but I thought that was absolutely degrading and disgusting what they did to the people.
Oh, absolutely. And it wasn't reality either.
No, not at all.
Right. I mean, just like, so they have this woman named Aubrey Gordon. She wrote a book called You Must Just Need to Lose Weight. That's the name of her book. She's also a co-host on Maintenance Phase podcast. But anyway, she was funny. And
she was very funny.
Right. And she said, I've been overweight my entire life. And she said, that's not reality when they put those temptations in front of you. Because one of the producers had said, well, we did that because in reality, you're going to be tempted like that when you go home. So her kind of like rebuttal to that was she had said, I've been a fat person a long time. That's not a real life scenario that I've ever encountered.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
And it's just not because and the prize was if you resisted the temptation, or maybe if you actually gave in, I don't know, one of it, you got to see your family. And so here are these people who are on this contest to lose weight, cash, get the cash prize, not be voted off too, because your team votes you off. But the temptation was grossly in their face.
They had people crawling around on the floor with donuts in their mouth. It was just degrading and disgusting.
It was fat shaming.
Bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like that at all.
Yeah, I thought another interesting thing that Aubrey said was, nothing you do your entire life will be as celebrated as much as getting thin.
Yeah.
That spoke volumes to me. Like, wow, someone can get their doctorate degree, become a surgeon, whatever, but nothing will be as celebrated as losing weight.
Which says a lot about our culture.
Exactly.
Another quote that I have here from Aubrey, the author, she said, the show is doing deep emotional work, but they didn't want credentialed people on the show to do that deep emotional work.
No. I mean, you have an emotional problem. We're kind of blending.
That's okay. We can segue
we could do
in.
that. And just go see Bob. You need help? You need mental help? Yeah, just go see Bob.
Talk to Bob. He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. That's what they said.
Yeah.
Dr. Huizinga also said every year I was going to quit the show.
Yeah,
because he really did seem to genuinely care. Mm-hmm. He was a doctor for some football team.
The Raiders.
And he seemed to genuinely care, but he said this, like when you're a physician for a football team, you know that the expectation for those professional athletes is that they are going to play hurt. Mm-hmm. They are going to keep going, and you're just trying to assess like their injuries or their whatever's going on with them. And in this case, he really did recognize the danger of losing weight too quickly.
Mm-hmm. Well, he pointed out too that an athlete, they can eat and eat and eat and still lose weight. because even when they're really heavy, because they're very active, and they're not hungry. For some reason, they're not hungry. He said something about that. Whereas these are couch potatoes, and these people admit that too,
right?
And we don't want to generalize every overweight person that's what they. I'm just saying. But anyway, Tracy's looking at herself.
I want my tacos.
Yeah. But he says that in this case, scenario, that's not going to be the case because these people are not athletic. So there's a lot of danger involved with that. And the diet's going to be different too.
And the other piece of it that this is just my opinion, but I feel like a lot of these contestants were going to these extremes, yes, to lose weight. So they had that, but I think it had a lot to do with the money too. The prize. Because $250,000, if you're in a position where that's a life changer, yes, losing 100 pounds is a life changer and potentially a lifesaver. Mm-hmm. Obviously, taking the steps to make that happen on your own in your real world isn't really motivating enough. But if you put a $250,000 carrot out in front.
Yeah. I definitely think that was a motivator for probably most. At the same time, some people that are interviewed or were interviewed, it's like a last ditch effort for them. Like they were just so desperate, and they felt like if they're going to be on this show where they're on camera and they're going to concentrate fully on that, the outside world is going to be shut out, and they're going to get paid. Yeah. Definitely. Huge motivator.
A couple of them said that they wish that the money wasn't a thing. Like, like a couple of the people that were involved with the show said, I wish that it was just the weight loss and not the money.
Yeah.
There was one girl that was interviewed on Jillian Michaels' podcast, and she said, she was a former contestant. She said when she came to the show, to the tryouts or whatever it was called, auditions, mm-hmm. she didn't even know. She had never seen the show.
Yes, I saw that. I heard her.
She didn't know that she was going to have to put on those outfits that they make them put on.
Yeah.
And show her body to the world.
That's right.
And stand on a scale.
Her sister knew. Her sister was Olivia. Both of these girls won. That's when they did some of the episodes. The contestants would have a partner, and sometimes they would not. But in this case, it was two sisters. The one sister had battled weight her whole life, mm-hmm. but her other sister Hannah did not battle weight, and she was athletic, but then when she was in high school she had an injury, and then she really gained a lot of weight, and then she kind of knew what it was like for her sister.
Yeah.
And then so Olivia had said, hey, listen, let's do the Biggest Loser. And yes, Hannah did not she didn't know what she was getting into, because in the beginning of the show, the first few weeks, all the contestants the men don't wear a shirt, mm-hmm. and then the women just have these horrible bras, like sports bra. But if they make it through and they lose more and more weight, then later on the t-shirts have to go back on, even for the men, because their skin is just hanging there.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to look at, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know who said this, because I forgot to write it down who said it, but one person said it was a big mistake having a winning system encouraged by dehydration, muscle loss, and cheating.
Yes, they had been accused of some cheating because of the caffeine pills.
Right.
And Dr. Huizinga said he made everybody sign off on it, that they wouldn't do it. Jillian did, though, and she even said on camera, and so Allison Sweeney, I think.
Yeah, she was the host.
She was the host after the first couple seasons or whatever it was, and she had to confront Jillian on camera
about
and
it.
Was very uncomfortable with it. She now says, and Jillian said, "I stand by it. It's caffeine. These people were drinking too much coffee," and so she stood by what she said.
Yeah.
So.
Also, Jillian was not part of the docuseries. They never said why, and she never said why, but she has her own podcast, and so she talks about stuff there. But she did say that she left the show after she saw Rachel's dramatic weight loss. It was too much. Like this woman, Rachel, had lost so much weight. When she came out for the reveal, the final reveal, she just looked gaunt and like she was starving.
Yeah, her and Bob stood there like aghast. They really were. But Jillian left for a couple seasons or maybe 4 and then came back. I don't know if that's when.
No, this was after Rachel. That was it.
That was it?
Yeah, she was done. I mean, that's what she said on her podcast. She said that after Rachel and that dramatic weight loss, she said, I profited from the show greatly, and I knew I was complicit, and that was the end for her.
She did say. Speaking of profiting, they interview Ryan, who was the winner on the first season.
Yeah.
And he won, and at the end, Jillian gives him a hug, and he says that she said, you just made me a millionaire.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's okay, because I mean, know that she's on the show.
Yeah.
So, but it was interesting that they pointed that out.
Allison Sweeney said that they were looking for people who had no hope. That was kind of like one of the characteristics of people that they were looking for. And I do think that if you take a step back, and so you can analyze all the pros and cons of the show. If you take a step back, it is a good conversation when you start talking about your general health. And obviously, everybody's not going to be able to be on a show like this and do these kind of extreme things.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, as Aubrey had said, the show is designed to, this doesn't really pertain to what you just said, but it's designed to draw a conclusion about a fat person's character based on, regarding the temptations, that is, based on what you see them eat on camera within a 5-minute period. It's so unrealistic.
Right. It is not reality at all.
Yeah.
One of the winners, it was a male winner, and again, I didn't write down his name, but I have this in my notes. He had blood in his urine.
That was Ryan.
And he was winning this show. And he said that the last 10 days of this competition, he did not eat a single thing.
Yeah, he was having like, what do you say, paprika or pepper with lemon and something in it?
Yeah.
Maybe, it was really gross. Yeah. Ugh.
What about Tracy? Do you want to talk about Tracy?
Yeah, so Tracy. Oh
not
my
me,
gosh.
Tracy, but
not
Tracy
you, Tracy.
Yes.
Right. She didn't think she was going to get, none of these people think they're going to get picked. It's a very slim chance that you're going to get picked.
Because there's a lot of competition.
Yeah. Well, she was struggling in her marriage, and she wanted chance to lose weight. She just couldn't do it on her own, and so she really wanted to be on the show. And I really do believe, she said the contract that we got once she received that phone call.
Yeah.
And they get to the hotel, they said, Jillian is the one that called her and said, and by the way, you're leaving tomorrow.
Yeah.
So they go from not knowing a single thing
to I gotta go,
to having to leave the next day, no contract to look at until you're there.
Right.
And
you don't have a lawyer with you.
She says, the contract is this thick. And she says, I am not, educated enough to understand this. I need a lawyer. Well, then they say, well, yeah, you can get one. But you know what? There's all these other people that are dying to get on this show. So either
sign it or get out of line.
Right. So then they are, I don't know if she was on an airplane or not at this point, but they're on this the Biggest Loser bus, which reminds me, by the way, I'm going to interrupt myself. So I think it was within the first few seasons, our neighbor down the street and her son were contestants on the show. It was a real big deal. And we were very, very good friends with the next door neighbors. So our friends, because they're neighbors, house is in one of the episodes. Is pretty interesting. Yeah. And that bus was outside of her house for years. They had
I saw that
Biggest Loser bus. Yeah. And it was a mother and son. Yeah. And I think she owned a gym too in Frankfurt. Yeah. Anyway.
Tracy. Back to Tracy.
They're on this Biggest Loser bus. And she and Danny, this season 8, and Danny Cahill, they become friends. And then they pull up and they're like, wow, that's reality. Like, holy cow. They're there. They're at the beach. And they're all told if they run this race and whoever are the first few to cross that line, they're going to get to be on the show. So she is running without pacing herself, without stopping, and she's almost to the finish line, and she pretty much collapses, and then she's trying to crawl, and you could see her losing her, not only her momentum, but she's literally starting to check out.
Yeah.
And she does. We find out later that, or even during that episode, that she died, but she did come back, but she had to be helicoptered out. And Dr. Huizinga went to visit her, and between some conversation and looking at her health, she had made the decision, no, I want to be back on the show. But he gave her strict limits she couldn't do a lot of the things the other contestants were doing. And so I think that, if I remember right, the other contestants were annoyed with that. You know, they were bothered by
her special treatment.
Yeah. And even Bob and Jillian wanted her off the show, according to her.
You know, the thing about Tracy, go back to her story. She said, well, you mentioned that she said she was struggling in her marriage. She said on the docuseries that her husband was unfaithful to her. And
that was just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, so it wasn't like they were just going through a dry patch or there was a lot of stress in the family. There was some deep-rooted emotional pain that this woman was in.
Yeah. And
she went through the process of the run on the beach, and her body wasn't used to that, of course.
Right.
You know, and of course there's heat.
Yeah.
And the medical term for it is malignant hypothermia. It leads to, I can't say this properly, but it looks like it's rhabdomyolysis.
Yes.
Rhabdomyolysis. I don't know how to say that. But the doctor, who was the sports medicine doctor, whatever, Dr. Huizinga, he said that that condition is recognizable. If he were there, present, he would have seen it.
And he
would have shut it down.
Yep.
Because what happens is your body shuts down. It shuts down major organs like your liver, your kidneys, and your heart.
Yeah.
And she actually did die-ish. Like she died, kind of.
Yeah.
Like her organs were shutting down.
She was out.
And she was unconscious, but she did come back because they gave her whatever they had to give her. I don't know what they did. But that's a pretty big moment for somebody.
You're right. Another thing about her too that she says in the docu-series is that so she was helicoptered off of the beach, and then when she makes her exit, when she gets voted off from the show, the producers or whoever it is arranged it so that she leaves in a helicopter, which is not normally the case. You see the loser drive off in a car.
Right.
And it was so much trauma for her. And she didn't know she was going to have to get on the helicopter. She did not want to do it, but she didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
She didn't even know that was going to be there. I felt really bad for her because when you're traumatized and then you have to reface, especially that soon, that trauma, that's got to be hard.
In my opinion, that just shows the insensitivity of the producers of the show for the well-being or care of the participants.
Yeah.
And that author lady, Aubrey, I have a quote from her that goes to that. She says, the goal here, meaning of the show, is to make a TV show, and the more spectacle, the better.
Yeah.
They did not care if it traumatized. In fact, I would venture to say that they were probably looking for, how can we dramatize this even more?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's just sad to me that people would be sitting around in a room going, you know what?
I know.
We should do this, or this, and make it even more dramatic.
Yeah.
And painful.
Yeah. I thought another interesting thing that Aubrey pointed out in regards to, like, again, the temptation, and the way the trainers were able to yell at the people. So about the temptation, she said it makes you think, or they want you to think, that fat people cannot be trusted around food.
Yeah.
You know, don't leave them alone with food.
Right.
They are not going to be able to resist. The other thing, in regards to, like, the berating of the contestants from the trainers, is the thought that once you are fat, I'm allowed, or they're allowed, to treat you however I see fit. She that was just quoting her, and that the abuse it's good for them. This is gonna.
Yeah, I really hate that approach.
Oh, I really hate it.
And like you said, you had mentioned our friend Lindy. She's our dear friend. We go to church with Lindy. She lives in our neighboring community, and her approach is so much different. Her approach is very positive. She doesn't look for perfection. She looks for progress. She never yells. I mean, could you just see her yelling at us?
Yeah, I wouldn't go. And she's actually opposite of that. She's very encouraging, nurturing, and sensitive.
And we were there not too long ago, like, I don't know, a week ago or so. And I'm always asking her if we could lay down.
We love the laying down exercises.
Like, she says, do 10 reps. I go, could I do 7?
Do you ever talk to her to distract her so she messes up the note?
No.
I don't either. I just wondered if you did. I really don't.
Gosh, but I love Lindy.
Yeah.
By the way, if anybody wants to work with her, she does it through the computer too, through Zoom or whatever you call it. So if you go to lindyflanagan.com, it's LindyFlanagan.com. She does personal training through the computer, and she also has a health coaching, thing where she'll walk you through that.
Yeah.
So check her out.
Yep.
All right. Let's segue. Let's see here. I'm looking at excess weight marinated in emotions. Is there anything else that you wanted to share from that little takeaway segment?
Well, were we going to talk about our
look at the note and look in there and see if there's anything. I mean, you can if you want to talk about your own personal story. Yes.
No, I just thought that that's what we wanted to do.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Go for it.
Oh. Okay. Well, I guess that I don't really know what to say other than, I didn't have a weight problem at all when I was younger or anything like that. And in fact, I do now, but gosh, when I was in high school, I wore sweats under my jeans so I would look more filled out. But that was late 70s, early 80s, and it was more of the look that's being at the time pushed was more voluptuous, I guess, more filled out.
Yeah.
Whereas now it is skinny mini. It's really skinny, So I don't know if that was part of it, but I just wanted to be more filled out, and I used to wish, for that. But now, I will say, it's a noticeable difference. I can tell when someone hasn't seen me in a really long time. They're like, oh. The comments are different. I don't know. It's just, I'm not.
I think that's in your head.
No.
You think people are looking at you and saying, well, you've gained weight?
I think, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, you're
know.
better off without them. The heck with them.
Well, I can't chop everyone out. No, yeah. It's definitely an emotional thing, though. I'm just so annoyed that it is hard. It's hard.
It's definitely harder the older you get. So we're both over 50. I'm almost 60. I'm going to be 60 in a few months. It blows my mind. And it is harder the older that you get to lose weight. However, our bodies are designed to require fewer calories, and that's where the tough part comes in. As we get older, we don't require as much food. The tough part is in lowering that calorie amount, and realizing that our metabolism is slower, different.
At what age do we require less calories? Because I didn't think I was there yet. Is that true? I don't know. I'm pretty active in the day.
I don't know, but I know we're women. Hormones have a big play in hunger, fullness, and all of that. And menopause is a thing. There's so many different factors you go through at our age. Typically, you lose your parents, which you just did, and then your dad,
Yeah.
A few years ago. So you go through some major life emotional changes, right?
Well, for sure. That's literally my case. So all at the same time, I had own kids that were flying the nest. I had my parents, which were really sick, and then lost them. And the pandemic, all of that happening
Combined
at
together.
once, and I hit menopause all at the same time. So yes, I was stressed and hormones, I don't know, out the wall, and that is when I gained.
Yeah, a lot of that. The pandemic alone, I'll bet you there's people listening to us, because I gained 20 pounds during the pandemic. And there's people listening who are like, yep, me too. Because I was trying all these new recipes because I had all kinds of time.
Yeah. And that was the only thing open was the grocery store.
And comfort food is what I wanted.
And right. You know, it's funny. Even my mom. So my mom had Alzheimer's, in case listeners are listening and they don't know. And she would say to me, "Oh, when did you get a big bum?" I'm like, during the pandemic.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being vulnerable and sharing. And I'm sure people can relate to that. You know, I'm sure there are listeners listening who never had a weight problem, but now they do. And by the way, I have to say this, your weight issue isn't like you wouldn't be diagnosed with obesity or what. You wouldn't. I mean, you still wear like a medium shirt, you know, and stuff like that. So it's not like you are obese, but you are uncomfortable with the extra weight because you're not used to it, for one thing. Your frame is not used to it. It's noticeable to you because of that. But it's not a huge amount.
And my other clothes don't fit me. The ones I used to have before the pandemic.
Right, but those are like small clothes. I'm just saying, I don't want people to get this visual of, you know, what's that guy's name from Star Wars, Jabba the Hutt? You know, it's not that. It's not. And in my case, I've struggled with weight really my whole life. I can remember from a young child I had pudge, you know.
Did you?
Yeah. In high school, I did lose weight. When I was a freshman in high school, like I starved myself.
Did you really?
I did. I don't remember how I got into it, but I would eat like in a day a Snickers and an apple.
Oh,
yeah.
What a weird
combo.
Yeah.
I would walk from high school because we could leave the campus. I would walk up to the grocery store and buy an apple and a Snickers and eat that. And that was like the day. And then I'd go home at night and just eat a very small dinner. So I was really restricting my calories, and I was also trying to move more. So I was walking or whatever. And I was a pretty active kid in terms of whatever activities, but I lost a lot of weight, too much weight really. And then I couldn't poop.
Oh,
couldn't do it.
So Snickers didn't help you?
The apple was just like, no, I'm not going to help.
It's not enough roughage.
No.
Oh, no.
My body didn't like that I was not feeding it, you know? So I gained weight back. Then I went to college and I gained weight in college, you know, the freshman 15 or whatever they call that, because you have a cafeteria and it's all carbs and it's macaroni and cheese.
No parents.
Oh,
and
man.
plus, don't you try to eat the food that's cheaper, right?
In college?
Don't you?
Well, it was a cafeteria and you just went through the line. You get whatever you want. So
Yeah,
it wasn't
I
like
guess-
there was, like, I don't know.
I'm thinking of like you're not at home, you're outside of home. So like when you're not in school and you're in
Like
the evening.
fast food?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And then, you know, after college, I went on a mission trip, and before I got married, I lost weight. But then I started having those babies, Catherine. And I popped out a baby every other year for a decade.
Yeah.
So it was on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off.
Right.
That was a lot.
That's a lot, yeah.
And of course, in between there, all just using food as comfort, using food as celebration, using food as I'm frustrated, using food as I just want to feel whatever, immediate satisfaction, right?
Yeah.
So,
I'm thinking about what that Joelle had said in the docuseries.
Yeah.
Because now she says she's on Ozempic, and so is that Susan as well.
Which one was Susan?
Susan was the New York cop.
Oh, okay.
And those are the two that regretted going on the show.
Yeah.
The two sisters we told you about earlier, Olivia and Hannah, they were glad they went on the show.
Yeah.
Anyway, but Joelle had said with the Ozempic, she said, and I think she's older than we are, and she said, I have never found something that is so helpful in weight loss as that, because it eliminates the food noise.
Yeah.
And I can understand that. Now, we've
Yeah.
done an episode on Ozempic and like the dangers of it and all
we
of
did.
that. And, but, you know, when you're diabetic, type 2 diabetes, I mean, you got to
talk to your doctor.
Yeah, talk to your doctor.
See what he says.
Which she did.
Yeah. Remember when we joined the gym and remember that, Kat?
Oh, I do.
So
I do.
Anybody that's been to my comedy show knows this because I've shared this from the stage, and it is quite funny, but it really happened.
Mm-hmm.
Catherine and I go into this gym, and I was turning 50, so this was 9 years ago. And she was determined to lose weight. And I was like, well, you're not going to lose weight without me.
Yeah.
So I'm coming.
Yeah, I wanted to tone up and be strong.
Yeah. And you did. And I did too.
Mm-hmm.
So we get in there and we're paying for our gym membership, right? So Catherine does her thing and she's sitting off to the side. And then they take me and they run my card. And this young kid, like, looks like a beefy young man boy. He says, oh, sorry, your card declined. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what? My card declined. And I called Ron and I'm like, what's with the money? I thought we had money. He said, there's money. Call the bank. And I call the bank from the gym. I'm sitting there in front of this muscular man that I'm trying to get signed up for his gym. And I call the bank and they said they shut down my card. They shut it down because they thought it was fraud. They thought some crook out there stole my card.
Because Tracy doesn't ever go to the gym.
Well, I've been picturing the thief, right? Running in there and signing up for the gym.
Yeah, right.
And you got to take your picture, you idiot. So the bank shut me down because they thought there's no way Tracy's going to go to the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
so funny.
yeah, we got that straightened out and then we got squared away. But that being said, about that period of time, we were consistent.
Yeah, we were.
And we were pretty disciplined.
But, you know, I knew then, and I'll still say this now, it really wasn't going to be reality because we were so strict. At least, what was our trainer's name?
Nick.
Remember that's
Nick?
Right, Nick. And it isn't sustainable for me. The way I was eating was very, very strict. And I remember thinking then, too, like, okay, this is great to get started, but I know I'm not going to live like this.
Yeah, because he gave us a sheet of paper, and the sheet of paper had foods on it. And he said, if it's not on this list, don't eat it.
And I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah.
And so on the list were all the things that we're supposed to eat, like fruits and vegetables and, I don't know, healthy fats.
Even those nutritious bars, energy bars, he's like, if it's compacted into a bar, it's not good for you. Yeah. And I knew that, but
yeah.
And then the exercises, oh my God, those lunges were so hard. And the gym was ginormous. And he would have me do those lunges from one end to the other with big, heavy kettlebells.
Yes.
And I remember you didn't have to do them because you had something wrong with your hip.
Yes, I did. I had a doctor's note.
Oh my gosh. That was hard.
Yeah, it was.
I remember thinking about The Biggest Loser during doing those
because it was probably during that time
It was
frame.
like, I want to throw up.
By the way, I thought that was disgusting on the clips from the show when the people would be on the treadmill throwing up or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I bet you that the show loved that. Well, obviously they kept it in. They didn't have like the decency to blur it out or anything like that.
No, they know what people want to watch.
Yeah, that's gross.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's move into a couple funny moments. I want to share this quote from Bob Harper. Bob Harper was one of the trainers on the show, and he was, I think, kind of a nicer character than Jillian.
Most of the time.
Jillian said on her own podcast that they told her to be mean like that and that she wasn't really that way. I mean, that's so in that regard, it was kind of scripted, but it was her instruction was to be yelling at people and berating them. And Bob was a little bit softer.
Yeah.
Well, Bob was so frustrated by this guy, Patrick. Mm-hmm. He was really trying to get Patrick to pull deep from within and do this exercise, right? Mm-hmm. And he was yelling at him. He was kind of taking the Jillian approach. And finally, he just goes, Patrick, I'm going to break your legs and beat you with them. And I'm picturing this little trainer pulling these legs off of this man and beating him with his own legs. And I thought that was really funny.
Yeah. He also, they highlighted on the documentary when he says, "You ain't puking, you're fake puking." Like, okay.
How does one even do that?
How do you do that? Right. One of the things that made me laugh was when Joelle in the docuseries, it's toward the end, and she says, "F you, Bob." She says, "And your little dog, too." I'm thinking, how does she know? Because in the interview on the docuseries, he does have his...
Well, he must travel with that dog around. It must be a public thing.
Or they do sometimes show clips of each other, what they've already recorded. So it could have been that too.
Joelle did not like Bob.
No.
She did not have any love for him, anything. She also said this about him, and this is a quote from Joelle. "That old country bumpkin of a man berated me."
Yeah.
She called him a name. I mean, this is very junior high, right?
Oh. And you could tell she felt bad afterwards. She goes, "Oh, God." And then she...
Right, what am I doing?
Yeah, she did do that. I mean, you know what? We all revert to that when we feel hurt.
We do.
I shouldn't say we all, but at times we're all capable.
We have the capacity, yes.
Yeah, and... and he did spend a lot of time with her when she was on the show, and we don't know the behind the scenes, like how'd they get to that point?
He did say she was difficult. So, I mean, those are
and
his
she
words.
even said they cast me because of my personality.
Yeah.
So, and then she even said that the rift that she had with Carla, the rest of the contestants definitely sided with Carla. And she goes, "And I knew that. I knew that she was their favorite. And I had to, basically she was like, I had to lick my losses.
Yeah.
I had to accept that."
I think just kind of summing up the docuseries and what were your takeaways? Like, what was your sum up of what you took away from the docuseries?
Well, wait, there's a couple more quotes I didn't know if you caught, and I thought they were so funny. So those two sisters, the Hannah, you know how much weight they lost and all that. The one said, I think it was Hannah, she goes, "I couldn't have lost more weight if I clipped my toenails." She also said when they did their audition and she didn't realize, how many people would see that. She's like, "My boobs were in my shoes."
Yeah.
And I laughed because that's your line.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, to answer your question.
Yeah.
Like, how would I sum it up and what's my takeaway? Well, here's what I think. I know that many people who applied for that to be on that show really did think that they were going to get help and they were going to be inspired.
Yeah.
I don't think that they thought it was going to be like a fat shaming. I think instead, or making fun of them. I think that they really thought it was going to be inspirational and helpful.
Yeah.
But overall, it's a TV show, and TV. The network is not going to air the show if they don't have ratings. And what brings ratings? Drama.
Yeah, that's true.
Shock. Yeah. All of those things. And so I guess that the biggest takeaway is like, don't rely on TV to bring you, your success.
Yeah, I think that really is a good statement to make about the show. I would say this about some takeaway that I hope you could relate to. I can relate to it. I hope people listening can relate to it. One, this is not on the docuseries. This was on Jillian's podcast, okay? One of the gals that she helped was interviewed, and it was that Hannah. She was interviewed by Jillian, and she kept her weight off all these years.
Yeah.
And Jillian asked her, what was the moment that stuck with you from your experience on the show? And she said it was something that Jillian said to her. And Jillian just looked at Hannah and said, "When are you going to stop breaking promises to yourself?"
Yeah. Wow.
And I think if we just let that resonate with ourselves, because it is 100% me, that every pound that I have on my body is 100% because I put it there.
Yeah.
Or I left it there. You know what I mean? Like it really is eating and moving and whatever. the typical thing. It's either choosing food that is too high calorie or sitting in a sedentary lifestyle for too long or whatever, or the amount of food, you know. So it was those choices are my choices.
Yeah.
And when she said that, when are you going to stop breaking promises to yourself? That's kind of a big eye-opening moment, is just ownership. Taking ownership of, yes, genetically, maybe we are predisposed to this or that with obesity. So that could be a thing. Genetically, we could be predisposed to addiction. That's a thing. We could genetically be predisposed to diabetes. That's also a thing. Alcoholism, that's a thing. I mean, all of it.
Yeah. I know that one person that Jillian interviewed on that podcast that you're talking about was a man who, by the time he was 13, he was in like 11 to 12 or 13 foster homes at that point. So a lot of these people had deep trauma, and some people with a lot of untreated trauma will go to some kind of addiction. And for him, it was food. For a lot of these people, it's food. If you watch that show, My 600-Pound...
Yeah.
Or wait, what's
I've
it called?
seen that. My 600-Pound Life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of those people have a lot of actually loss. Like they have lost someone or something.
Yeah.
And it has caused all kinds of, problems for them.
Yeah.
So, and the thing about Jillian too, like I don't particularly like her. I did watch the show in its prime, and yes, of course there were times where she was compassionate, and but overall she was berating people and in their face and all of that. And she had said, I remember in one of the episodes, that her mother was a counselor, if I remember right. And so while she did acknowledge that she herself was not a counselor, she could kind of use those skills that she had learned from her mom when she would talk to people. And so those are some good things about her. She did try in that way. And then there was one more thing I was going to say about her, and it was in regards to being relatable. She, I believe, when she was a youth, she was chubby.
Yeah.
She had a weight problem. So,
yeah, and she took up some kind of martial arts or something and had a sensei that kind of whipped her into shape in that way, like in that kind of yelling at you kind of way. Another one of her clients, Michelle, she was from season 6. She was asked the same question about your weight loss and all that and keeping it off. And she said for her, the biggest takeaway is to make small changes, but permanent.
Yeah.
And not try to get overwhelmed. Like, don't go at it balls to the walls or whatever, don't go at it like you're going to do this for a short period of time. Small changes, permanent.
Yeah.
And then you'll experience permanent change.
Yeah.
I thought that was good advice.
I think another one that's a good thing to think about is that it's not a diet, it's a decision.
Yeah.
If you just think that. Hey, back to that Michelle that was being interviewed.
Yeah.
I did really, one thing that resonated with me was, and I think I remember that episode, that season, she and her mom had been estranged for years.
That's her.
And they went on the show as partners. Like I said, sometimes it was, you went singular, alone, or you had your partner. And it was a way for her and her mom to connect. And she said, though, that she was the only person who had a partner who she really didn't get along with in the beginning.
No, I bet the show producers loved that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that same gal, she said this. She said, you're better off losing 25 pounds in a year and keeping it off than losing 25 pounds like in a month and just regaining it and then some. So I hope, listeners, that you'll keep that in mind. I'm trying to resonate with that myself. I hope for you, Cathrine, that you'll think about that. What small changes, speaking of that, we'll move to like our inspiration and our takeaway or our call to action. What small changes can we make that can be permanent, that can really get us closer to our goal and make us healthier?
Portions.
Yeah, that's
portions.
Yeah, for sure.
Less portions. I definitely, over the years, like later on, and or I should say later on in life, but more recently, just overindulging.
Yeah.
I think that if you could just make that one change, just smaller portions, or like if you have a real craving for, like, I don't know, let's just say something sweet, take just one bite. You're not going to re-taste it, really.
Right.
You know, it's on your tongue. You've tasted it. It is not going to get better the next bite and the next bite.
Right. You know, Dolly Parton has a theory about that. I read something that she wrote about weight and managing your weight. And she said her approach is to take just 2 bites of whatever's offered. And that's it. You just get a little taste of it.
Yeah.
And she'll even go to a restaurant and order a couple of things, like a couple of entrees, and just take 2 bites, pass it around the table. Does anybody want to take 2 bites? You know, type of thing. And look at her. She's skinny. Except for right there. All right. Let's leave with some inspiration. We've got a scripture here, and it is from 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 7. This is the truth. It says, quote, "The Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart." So let's just, take our bodies as the gifts that God created them to be and treat them well. And let's treat our emotions well, too. Treat your mind well. Do not beat yourself up if you have a few pounds to lose. Please don't. But make some positive changes, small at first, and just do them for, consistently.
That's right.
All right. Well, you've been listening to the Life Happens Laugh Anyway podcast. I'm still comedian Tracy DeGraff.
I'm still Cathrine.
See you next time.
Goodbye.